Yeah, I've been called Dom DeLuise on this channel a lot, or Dom Jr. But today I think I got to do my best Fat Joe impression, and that's... Yesterday's price is not today's price. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Lombardi Time Brews. I am your host, John Del Rey. First, I'd like to give a shout out and welcome to all of the new subscribers. If you are not yet, consider joining. Join the channel, Lombardi Time Brews, where I post multiple updates every week about what's going on in Packer land. Gotten a bit off schedule lately, obviously, as has the entire NFL world, given the fact that we are just twiddling our thumbs, just waiting for the Aaron Rodgers news, and I'm just not real big on hopping on here and doing a full episode and asking for a little bit of your time when I really don't have much to say, so kind of been in a holding pattern, but enough has happened in free agency now, developments with the Aaron Rodgers potential trade, what's going on there, that I can hop on and address a number of these topics. First of all, some non-Rodgers news for the Green Bay Packers. Quick hit number one, Keyshawn Nixon is back. Yes, he has re-signed with the Packers since the last time that I put out an episode, and he is back. It's a one-year deal, $4 million, but with incentives can get up to $6 million. I'm a little surprised that it's a one-year deal as opposed to a multi-year deal, but especially for Keyshawn, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, he signed a deal at $4 million with incentives up to $6 million. If he performs like he did last year, then his new standard becomes $6 million in a future contract. So it does make sense for Keyshawn Nixon and his potential earning power to only do a one-year contract. And for the Packers, this was a player you had to keep. And while you do safeguard yourself a little bit against kind of the idea of a one-hit wonder by only doing a one-year contract. So I see both sides. I would have preferred a multi-year deal, but certainly just happy that Keyshawn Nixon is returning at all. One player who is still a little bit up in the air, even though I do think he's at least going to be tendered something, would be tackle Yash Nyman. Look, the free agency deals for offensive linemen right now are just insane. I mean, you got Andre Dillard getting like $10 million a year. You got multiple offensive tackles getting something like $20 million a year. Some of the interior linemen. Elton Jenkins' contract now looks like a steal compared to some of the guard contracts that got signed yesterday even. Yeah, just guard contracts, not even tackle money. Elton Jenkins is a steal financially now per this new free agent market. And so that does lend itself to some questions about Yash. Now, the Packers, as of right this minute, have not tendered Yash a contract. It's believed, has been widely believed for a long time, that he's going to get tendered at the second round level. That would be a cap number of about $4 million. And of course, really what that means is if a different team signs Yash and the Packers don't match, he opts to go there, then the team has to give the Packers a second round pick. And here's the thing for me. When you're looking at your roster construction, you've got David Bakhtiari, who's just on his fresh contract restructure. You have him at least for the next year. Then you've got Zach Tom, who did a heck of a job playing. Probably his best spot last year was right tackle. And then you've got all of your developmental tackles, Luke Tenuta, Caleb Jones, Rasheed Walker. Yash right now at $4 million and a second round tender is someone that you don't necessarily need. Of course you want him as a capable swing tackle who can play both left and right. He would compete with Zach Tom for the right tackle job realistically. Of course you want that on your roster, but do you want that at your roster at the cost of a second round pick? So I think it's a no-brainer that he gets tendered at least the second round level. The question is a team, given the fact that the O-line market is insane, maybe willing to do it? Or if you're Brian Gutekunst, on that tender, do you call around and say, hey, would you be willing to give us a third round pick? We've seen some shenanigans like that in the past when Ted Thompson franchised, I believe is Corey Williams off the top of my head, and then took a lesser trade than what the franchise tag would have been to still recoup an asset. So is it possible? Yeah. So ultimately, at the end of the day, look, Yash is probably going to get tendered at the second round level. If he's back in Green Bay, fantastic. But if they can get another team to bite, to give them a second round pick for Yash, To me, that's a no-brainer. Rather than hanging on to a tackle who's under the contract for one more year anyway, and it opens up what will be $4 million in cap space. No-brainer to me. Let's move on to one more player who now is a former Green Bay Packer wide receiver, Allen Lazard. I'm going to be talking him as part of the Rodgers package in just a minute, but yes, he is signed with the New York Jets, 4 years, $44 million. Look, I have never been Allen Lazard's biggest fan. Is he a competent and capable wide receiver? Yeah, absolutely. Is he a great run blocker? Yes, he is. But I've been saying all offseason long that if his number comes in at about $11 million as he was projected to get, do I want the Packers in at that price range? No, because given the makeup of their wide receiver room, I just didn't think it made a lot of sense. And here we are. 4 years, $44 million, exactly $11 million on the head, going to the New York Packers. I mean, the New York Jets. Speaking of the Jets, let's just dive into that topic fully. What in the sweet goodness is going on with Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers, and the New York Jets? We're still waiting. Still! This has been going on for days now. Everyone refreshing their Twitter feeds. Multiple people that I've seen online just need to go for a walk. Just need to take a breath because everyone has been sitting here too long. Even I've got NFL Network on right now in the background here, and the anchors have been on too long. Everyone needs to take a break. And look, we are just sitting here just waiting. And the most consistent report seems to be right now that Aaron Rodgers has still not informed the teams officially what he wants to do. He still is not committed through and through to playing for the Jets. So here is what I believe to be going on and why we don't yet have a trade, a retirement, a resolution in any way, shape, or form. And really, I think it comes down to 3 points. One, I think Aaron Rodgers wants to announce the news himself. Now, I had thought that was going to be on McAfee today, but apparently we're not ready to do that. We know he has an open invitation to just make news whenever he wants. He can hop on McAfee whenever he wants. Maybe he'll just be on tomorrow. Maybe it'll be an Aaron Rodgers Wednesday or a Thursday or who knows. But look, I mean, Aaron Rodgers can do what he's going to do. And we always have said that Wednesday, the start of the new league year, would be the deadline. It's just no one actually thought it would go to that. I think he wants to announce the news in his own way. The other reason why I think that this hasn't been completely finalized yet is we do know from some reporting from ESPN that Aaron Rodgers has provided the Jets with a list of players that he would like to see the Jets go after or at least make a targeted attempt to acquire in order for Aaron Rodgers to commit to playing for the Jets. Of which Brian Gutekunst must just be sitting in his office going, you have no idea what you're in for, do you? Like, poor Joe Douglas sitting in his Jets GM office going, we really want Aaron Rodgers, but what is this? And Goody just going, your turn. Look, and on that list, Allen Lazard. All right, that box is checked. He is signed with the Jets. Number 2, Mercedes Lewis. All right, the Jets could probably use him. Serviceable, really good blocking tight end. Still one of the best blocking tight ends in the league. But yeah, he's getting really old. How much is he going to want? All right. Number 3, Randall Cobb. Yes, who had his ankle surgery to get back in football shape because it didn't go so well this year. But and then Odell Beckham Jr., who the latest rumors are still saying that OBJ wants $20 million a year to still be paid like a premier wide receiver, even though he doesn't play like a premier wide receiver all the time anymore. So Aaron Rodgers has provided the Jets with this list. Allen Lazard, Mercedes Lewis, Randall Cobb, OBJ. Few observations. One, I know Rodgers and OBJ are tight, but it's kind of surprising to me that OBJ would still be on that list, considering that he basically just used the Packers as contract leverage to get more money from the Rams a couple of years ago. But, of course, I'm not at all surprised about Lewis, Cobb, Lazard. One name that I am surprised isn't on the list, though, would be Robert Tonyan. He's kind of the odd man out of this situation right now, right? So, look, moving on from that, we know that list has been provided to the Jets. We know that. That's all we know at this point. We know the Jets are actively working because we've heard the reports of them at least contacting Lewis, contacting that they have interest in all these places or on all these people now that Rodgers has provided the list. Now, last thing, it is entirely possible that the Jets and the Packers are still working on the negotiations of this trade. We know that this trade is going to be massively complicated. We always knew that this trade was going to take time to work out. We knew that the rough parameters were in place. The question is, are they still in place? Because, as I said in the intro, yesterday's price is not today's price. And the reason being is because for the New York Jets, what you gonna do now? You've put all of your eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket. Whether you wanted Alan Lazard or not outside of Aaron Rodgers, you have now signed one of his buddies. You are actively pursuing the others. And not only that, but Derek Carr is gone. Jimmy Garoppolo is gone. Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens have basically already said that they're going to match darn near any offer that Lamar Jackson gets. The purpose of this non-exclusive tag was for the Ravens to not have to set his market, let the rest of the league do it, and then they can pay him. Okay, beyond that though, what are they going to do? You've said all along that you have this Super Bowl ready roster, right? You need a veteran quarterback. You can't just trade up and go get a rookie now. Or not only that, but are you going to trade for Matthew Stafford instead of Aaron Rodgers? Or any other veteran? No. I mean, the Jets are all in here. And so has Brian Gutekunst, Hey, NFL Network. Apparently, Pat McAfee just tweeted about how you're cordially invited to his show at noon Central tomorrow for something big. Why do I have a feeling it's going to be a Rodgers Wednesday? Look at that. Okay, so tomorrow, noon. If you don't do anything else, McAfee, you'll hear all the news. Okay, moving on back to what I was saying. The Jets are all in here. Is it possible that the Packers and Brian Gutekunst have gone back to the Jets and said, we know that your leverage is dwindling? That second round pick you had included, it's now a first round pick. Because what are you going to do? And of course, is it a little bit of a game of chicken then? Because could the Jets just walk away? Sure, but what are they going to do? If they do, though, what do you do if you're the Packers? Force Rodgers into retirement? Because I don't see a world where you're just bringing him back now. So, something to think about. I will say, I have said all along, and I put out an episode last week saying that what does that compensation look like? And I put out a video exclusively about Brian Gutekunst's trade patterns. How good is he at trading? Versus, other GMs. Does Gutekunst wind up on the winning side of these a lot or the losing side of these a lot? And the truth is, more times than not, he's wound up on the winning side. Especially in the Devontae Adams trade. So I don't think this is going to be, as a matter of a number of Jets fans have said, that this is going to be like a third-round pick for Rodgers, like the Favre deal. No, I think it's going to be more than that. And my prediction still stands. I think this is going to wind up being the Jets' first-round pick, number 13, along with a young player on a rookie contract. I'm not saying it's going to be Jermaine Johnson, as much as I'd love that. But it could be, even a throwaway like a Denzel Mims, if the Packers want to try to revitalize that potential, because we know that they were previously interested in him. Or a vet that would be a cap casualty who has now reworked his contract, so like a Jordan Whitehead, their safety, or Corey Davis, the wide receiver. And then a conditional pick next year. Be it 2, 3, 4. I think it's more to the mid-range, with escalators per how Rodgers plays and the Jets do. That is, I think, where this trade winds up. Now, if other players are involved, like if Darnell Savage is wrapped up into this, or if the Jets are handing over more than just one player, then that completely and utterly changes the negotiations. But as of right now, Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, that's my prediction. A 1, a rookie-level player who's more of a throwaway type. I don't think it's going to be someone like a Jermaine Johnson, as much as we love it. Or a vet who's going to readjust the contract, and a mid next year. They're conditional. So let's turn the page a little bit. Free agency, Green Bay Packers, what's still out there? We know that a lot of the targets that I fell in love with, they're gone. Jimmy Ward, gone. Jesse Bates, who most people loved, gone. Dalvin Tomlinson, gone. So what's left? And realistically, there's still a lot of names out there. Julian Love at safety. Jordan Poyer, if the Packers can afford him at safety, even though I highly doubt that one's going to happen. And he said that he wants to play in warm weather after playing in Buffalo forever. So Green Bay's not going to help in that one. But the positions that I think are most likely to be addressed yet in free agency, and I'm not saying it's going to be tomorrow, next week. They may address free agency in June. But I think you're looking at safety and tight end. For the vet wide receiver, I actually see the Packers most likely addressing that in a trade. I do. Per this free agent market at wide receiver right now, I just don't see one. Now that Robert Woods is gone, I just don't see a wide receiver that unequivocally fits the mold of what Green Bay is looking for, is that vet presence. Meanwhile, there are a couple on the trade block that could fit it. Safety and tight end, there are still absolutely candidates that could come in free agency and fit. Two of which happen to already have played for the Packers. Now, I don't necessarily want them back, but I acknowledge that it's entirely possible, especially given some reporting by Bill Huber saying that the Packers have shown an interest in retaining Adrian Amos. Now, we have not heard the same about Robert Tonyan at all, but hey, look, if he's not going to the Jets, and you need a tight end, because if Mercedes Lewis does go to the Jets, and you need somebody, perhaps it's Robert Tonyan. So, look, what do we know right now? What do we know? Unequivocally, what do we know? We know that the Jets and Packers have talked, that they're still talking. We know, because it's been reported widely, that Rodgers has supplied the Jets with a list of players that he wants to see the Jets go after. We know that Pat McAfee's all excited about noon tomorrow. We know that Keyshawn Nixon is back with the Packers. We know that Yash Nyman's deadline to get a tender is tomorrow afternoon. Other than that, that's it. That's it. All of these evolving days, and that is all we know. So, stay tuned. Buckle up. So much more Packer news to come. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. I'll be back who freaking knows when. But at worst, I'll put out a video again soon, probably after McAfee tomorrow, with whatever updates there are. Have an absolutely wonderful day. And as always, go Pack Go.